So you called your bank and they said that you can't do that, right? You can't do velocity banking. You can't take some of your mortgage principal here at our bank and transfer it to a line of credit here at our bank. Is that true? Possibly. Well, let's break it down. Let's talk about it in today's training. Hey guys, it's Mike Adams here, and on this channel we empower individuals to achieve freedom through improved financial literacy, business ownership, and real estate investing. If it's your first time here, make sure to click subscribe, click the bell, so that way you get notified on any and all of our future content. So in this training, we're going to discuss, some of you guys have reached out, you said you called your bank and they said you can't do that. You have a mortgage with us and now you have a line of credit with us. You can't just take some of your mortgage and put it on your line of credit with us unless you're going to do the whole thing. And so, fantastic question. Again, guys, I love your comments, love your questions about this powerful strategy. Keep them coming. And if you have questions about this strategy, make a comment and I will do my best to create a piece of content that will answer your question. So there's really two things that you can do if your bank says that you can't do velocity banking. Perhaps you have a mortgage at a particular bank and you also have a line of credit at that same bank. What are your options to still be able to do velocity banking? And somebody reached out in the chat line and said they called their bank and that was their scenario. And the bank said, no, you can't just do a transfer from your mortgage with us over here to your line of credit. You can't do that. And conventionally, no. In many scenarios, many institutions, they're not going to let you transfer from one of their particular products to another. They're just not going to let you do that. So there's one unconventional way that you could still potentially do it. And again, there's a lot of factors at play here on this particular line of credit. But if you have a mortgage at a bank and a line of credit at that same bank, what you could do is you could take that line of credit, whether it's a personal line of credit, maybe you have checkbook control there, or if it's a credit card that's at that same financial institution, you could take one of the balance transfer checks that they give you, or convenience checks, write it out to yourself. Okay, cash that check, you wrote it out to yourself for cash, and now you could take that cash and apply it to your loan. So again, you're not doing a transfer from the loan right to the line. You're giving yourself cash from the line, from there taking that cash and applying it directly to the loan. Okay, so knocking down some loan, bringing it essentially over to that line. Okay, so that's one way you could still do it. Now, the second way, and probably the easier and more preferred way, would be, instead of just maintaining your line of credit here at the bank where you have your mortgage, simply put this line of credit on the shelf, okay, and go to another bank and get a different line of credit. Okay, if you're in good credit standing, you could go to a different bank and open up a personal line of credit. Or, okay, even find yourself a credit card that has favorable terms and is very favorable towards balance transfers specifically. And again, if you're looking for some tips on that, I have some links below that you can check out some of my favorite credit cards. I'll actually put out a video shortly highlighting some of the different credit cards that I've used in my business and in my personal life that have transferred very, very well into utilizing them for velocity banking. So I'll link to a few of those in the description so you can check them out. But you can easily, you got your mortgage here, you got your line of credit here, they don't want you to do it and you don't feel like jumping through that hoop, skip out on this line of credit and go get a different line of credit at a different bank. From there, there'll be no issues using those balance transfer checks to, again, grab a piece of that amortized loan and bring it over to that line of credit, that new line of credit, so that way you can utilize the velocity banking strategy. Also, a couple things to note, guys. Whenever you're calling into your bank, just understand that most people are very unfamiliar with velocity banking. Most people were taught that, how to do things, the same way we were all taught, where you get your money, bring it to the bank, you chop up that pie, and you make your monthly payments. Also, keep in mind that people that work at banks, were taught to do things that favor the banks. So they're taught that loans are best for consumers, where lines of credit may actually be better. And what we demonstrate is that lines of credit, when used the right way, are actually much, much better because it allows us to keep the leverage. So just understand that even though you're calling a bank and even though they work at the bank, they may not be informed about this particular strategy. And so you could certainly refer them to this YouTube channel and they could get some pointers about velocity banking, how it works, and maybe benefit them in their own lives. So again, guys, most banks aren't going to let you take and transfer, if you got a mortgage with, let's say, Wells Fargo and a credit card with Wells Fargo, most of the time they're not going to let you just go ahead and transfer over to that line of credit. But just remember, you could take that line of credit, write yourself a check for cash, and then from there, take that cash and apply it to your loan. Okay. Your other option is, of course, to skip out on that line of credit, put it on the shelf, leave it open, of course, maintain that line of credit. Okay, but go ahead and open up a new line of credit that you could then use to get those balance transfer checks and grab chunks of your mortgage and bring it over to that line of credit so you can do velocity banking. So if you found value in this training, make sure to give it a like, give it a comment. And if you have other questions about velocity banking, make sure to reach out to me with those questions. I'd love to answer those for you and help you utilize this powerful, powerful strategy. I will see you guys in the next training.